Moving on to our next speaker for this afternoon, please welcome to the stage former Treasurer, former Ambassador to the United States of America and many more things, Joe Hockey, for a Q&A with me. I feel like there's another friend who should be joining us.
Yes.
I'll sit next to you because otherwise it would be weird.
It's great to be back in the Great Hall. Hasn't changed much.
It's so beautiful. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
That beautiful tapestry behind us, it always makes me feel nostalgic. It's really lovely. Do you miss your days in politics?
No.
And you want to elaborate on that?
The last time I spoke here was after my last budget. It was a bigger crowd, not as affectionate though.
Right,
Yeah.
well, you've done a lot of exciting things since then, and of course one of those was spending 4 years as our ambassador to the United States, where among other achievements you got the grass tennis courts at the Australian Embassy renovated so that you could play tennis and other ball sports with the rich and powerful. You were Donald Trump's golfing buddy. So with that expertise in mind and all your other expertise, how would you handle, if you were Anthony Albanese, his first face-to-face meeting with Donald Trump on Wednesday? What would be your opening gambit?
I'd walk in and say, Mr. President, you've got a war in Ukraine to deal with, you've got a war in the Middle East to deal with, you're trying to restructure the biggest economy in the world, you've had a terrible political assassinations in Minnesota. Everyone that meets you asks for something. I'm here to say, what can I do to help?
And what would that be?
Well, I'll tell you what it would be. I mean, we can get down to tin tacks, but everyone that goes into the Oval Office goes asking for something. Go in there to Donald Trump, disarm him and say, what can I do to help? Because we're aligned in our interests. We want freedom. We want democracy. We want a safe world. What can we do to help? And that would, you know, Donald Trump, it will be first impressions. Donald Trump is very focused on sizing you up immediately, working out whether you are on his side or the other side. And I'd be a little disarming in that sense and do that.
Okay, so then I'll be Donald Trump in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I say what we want is you to spend 3.5% of your GDP on defence from today, and I also want unfettered access for American beef into Australian markets.
And I'd say, well, Mr. President, let's start with the first one. We are increasing our defence spending, but arguably it's not enough. But we are a partner that you have had for more than 100 years. You know that, Mr. President. We're the only country in the world that has been side by side with the United States in every major conflict since 1918. No one else has been there. We want to do it again. The biggest issue for us is about having deterrence with submarines. And the deal that was done is a deal that, you know, and I know Donald Trump doesn't have regard for deals held by previous presidents. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about alliances like that. But I would say to him, Mr. President, what I'm saying now is you're having trouble building enough submarines to meet the challenges of the future. We want to help. We are immediately going to send 500 young people from South Australia to work with Huntington Ingalls, with Electric Boat, to learn the skills. We are going to help you with your maintenance program by bringing Virginias to Australia. We're going to start by being part of the supply chain, not just on critical minerals. We will help build the Virginias for you in Australia, in South Australia. So why not start now? Why are we waiting for the AUKUS subs? Start now in South Australia, building various components of the Virginias and the Columbus. An Australian-owned company, Austal, is already in Alabama building the command centres for the Virginias and Columbus class submarines. Australian-owned company in Alabama is doing it. And why aren't we walking into the meeting and saying, we're not only giving you a cheque for $3 billion, we're actually on the ground in Alabama helping you to build your submarines now?
Okay, so then I'm still Donald Trump.
Yep.
I say But aren't
I haven't got to beef yet. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to let you off the hook on that.
You've
I'm
got
coming
great
back to
beef,
that.
Mr. President. We'd love to welcome you to Australia.
And he
It's
says,
very
okay, well,
expensive.
stop asking annoying questions about the beef. Just accept it the way it is.
Well, I mean, on beef, it's about tracking from birth to butcher. And the problem is the US doesn't have a national licensing system the same way we do. It's very addressable. There are other things like new coal is a very low-hanging fruit that is very addressable. There are certain things. He is transactional, Donald Trump. He wants to be able to walk out of there and say, I've got a deal. These are the 1, 2, 3 things I've given. These are the 1, 2, 3 things that we're going to give. But he wouldn't talk about what he's giving, but he'd do that.
You were sitting at my table and I heard you nodding and murmuring in approval when Jennifer Parker said that Trump is not unpredictable. He might be...
He's entirely predictable. I don't know what people don't... Maybe I'm too close to it, but I mean, I lived more than half my life in Washington, and I'm still very engaged with the Oval Office and so on, and I think the President is very predictable. He is the most open and transparent political leader I've ever seen. I mean, you know, and you cringe because he is so open and transparent. I mean, you know, taking a Qatari plane, usually they wait until they're finished as president. You don't see Barack Obama or you see Bill Clinton occasionally on commercial planes. They're all got private jets provided by donors after they leave. Donald Trump said, no, give it to me now. So,
Okay.
you know, it's like, I mean, you know, he's always been like that. He's very...
Okay, so I'm
I
going
won't tell you all the stories.
Oh, no, go on.
I need to
Tell
have
me one.
I need to have a few drinks.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that later. Okay, so I'm going to say, yes, you can build a Virginia-class submarine starting now. So do you have any major defence manufacturers in Australia who can actually do this job?
Of course, Austal. And it's subject to a takeover by our friends at Hanwha, which is ridiculous. We have one Australian prime. We have one chance at this. One chance. And it's Austal. And I mean, Austal's government relations have been hopeless, right? But the fundamental point is they've got a $12 billion book in the United States building $12 billion of naval ships for the US Navy. In Australia, they've got virtually zero. And it's an Australian listed company. So when Austal goes, we've gone. So in the United States, for every dollar they spend on procurement, probably 80 cents in the dollar is with American companies. In the UK, probably 80 cents in the dollar of every dollar spent on procurement in the UK is with UK companies. We are probably today 20 cents in the dollar. And if Austal goes to foreign ownership, it'll be, 5 cents in the dollar. You wonder, Chris Hillman asked a great question before, how do you carry the Australian people with you? Why aren't we investing in our own businesses, in our own technology? I do that. My firm does that. I set up Australia's first national security investment fund. I have millions of dollars of my own money earned post-politics. Millions of dollars invested in Australian companies trying to get ahead. Fleet Space, With You, With Me, Whiskey Project, Speed 3D. But they cannot get ahead in Australia alone. The reason why super funds and others don't invest in Australia is because you are investing in companies that have one client, which is the Australian government, which is an unreliable client under the Coalition or Labor. So you can only invest in companies that expand beyond our borders. So we need, if we're going to have any Australian companies do this, we need them to be expansionary, like Austal, where it couldn't get an Australian contract, but it's a third biggest naval shipbuilder in the United States. And if we just let it go into foreign hands, how do we have a defence industry that supports us in conflict? I mean, look at Ukraine. Their drones are indigenous. Look at Israel with its technology from pages right through to a range of other things. It is indigenous. And so the problem, my great fear, and it was touched on, but no one's being explicit about it, how do we use Australian technology in order to build our national security? Because only then can we get super funds and investors to go into it. So When I set up my fund, 1941 fund, in partnership with Ellison Capital, I went around all the high net worth individuals I knew in the US, Australia, the UK. A number of them said, well, Joe, why would we invest in defence? You're relying on a government contract, one contract. I said, yeah, but we're going dual purpose, we're going private and public investment, but you know, this is our future technology. And gradually I've been educating the investment class. The combined assets of my investors would be about $60 billion, but we've been only able to deploy, you know, tens of millions of dollars here in Australia. We've started investing in companies in the US that invest in Australia.
So, as the Donald Trump expert, I'm going to go back to being me now because I can't maintain this illusion for any longer. Do you think this review of AUKUS is going to make any difference? Is this just a box-ticking exercise?
No. And there's an ulterior motive. And the message, so therefore, you know, the ulterior motive is in the United States, there is great anxiety about the fact they're not producing enough Virginia-class submarines. So our solution isn't to say, okay, we're going to take them off you. Our solution has to be, actually, we're going to help you build them. We'll send, as I said, 500 people from Adelaide over there, and then we will build, you know, we'll build command modules, we'll build torpedoes in Adelaide, we'll build some for the Virginia. I'm not saying give up on the AUKUS, but let's get into that. Don't just say, oh, we're going to send you these critical minerals and rare earths and you can do it all. They've got blockages. And I've been to Barrow and I've been to Newport. I go to these places. I was with a range of senators and congressmen 3 weeks ago in the US, and I go back on Thursday. And they're all saying the same thing. How are we going to do it, Joe? I say, okay, here's our solution. We've got E3 visas. We can bring people over. You train them. We'll set up a maintenance facility in South Australia and Henderson, and we will deliver. We will help you to reach your goals so that we both win.
Okay, well, there are drinks afterwards. I'm here. Joe is staying for the drinks. You can buy him a drink and get him to tell you one of his great stories. Joe Hockey, thank you very much.
Thanks.